Welcome to the Empowered Coach podcast. I'm your host, Richard, and I'm super pleased to invite Alicia on the show today. Alicia, would you like to kind of say who you are, where you're based, and what your business is?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So, I am relatively new to the online coaching industry. It's been something that I've been contemplating for a while, and for one reason or another, life's been super busy. So, a lot of things have got in the way. But my background was in performing arts, and based on some of the journeys and self discovery I've had through that, is what has led me to this. A lot of bad habits and the things that I've learned, I just think now it's time to project that knowledge onto others.
Wow. Well, we're definitely going to have to go deeper into that because I'm super intrigued. But what was your kind of journey, I guess, before that? Did you kind of study in performing arts, and then what did you do? What's been your career through that?
Yeah, I did. So that was always the dream. And when I got thrown into it, it was just such a competitive environment. It could become quite toxic at times, and you
Yeah.
get this constant pressure on yourself, thinking, I need to be a certain way and I need to fit into a certain mold. And it just wasn't so healthy for me, I think. You can go through so many auditions and get down to the last two, and it won't pay the bills. And then you start to think, that desperation is going to come across when you're trying to go for work instead of the passion for what you were doing. And I think it translated for me into me having that feeling of not being good enough. And it wasn't that at all. I was just early 20s thrown into a world where there are so many people like myself. And I then tried to shrink myself in effect to fit into a mold in an attempt to get to where I wanted to be. And then I had to make the call and go, what am I doing? Like, we are supposed to be using our bodies for good, building strong bodies for life to carry us through what is supposed to be a joyous life and not all this pressure. So I had to come out of it. And that's where this passion for fitness and educating myself correctly came from. And now this is where we are.
Yeah, that's I mean, I guess it's something we kind of know, I guess, but yeah, hearing it firsthand, like how toxic that environment must be. And like yeah, to like express yourself and to sing and to dance and to act. Yeah, it should be about joy, but we've created an environment where it's super competitive and like probably you can never be good enough, right? Because there'll always be someone else, or maybe someone knows someone and they get a favor. It's like you probably can't ever win in that environment. But I guess you grow stronger through these sorts of things, although it might knock you down. Do you feel like how do you feel like your mindset's changed over time, having to, go through that?
This is exactly what I'm doing now, because the process that you go through and the amount of times that you'll pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, go again, you have that extra little bit of strength within you. And the way that I put, especially even towards clients now, is that we need to fail, because without failing at something, we're never going to learn. We're never going to grow. Although it didn't go the way I wanted in that industry, I'll be forever grateful for it, because
Yeah.
that's shaped how I am now. And that gives me the tools to then pass on to clients and help them with that mindset too.
Yeah, 100%. We do need to celebrate failure more because, like you say, it is the only way that you actually learn and grow. You have to go through it yourself. Um, so fast forward to now, when did you qualify as a PC?
So it's only within the last couple of years. So it is brand new. So I know that you've done some podcasts recently and spoken to really experienced professionals. And one of your recent podcasts, actually, I don't know if it was Dave that you were talking about, and he was in a different area now, and he's transitioned to online, where he's created so much success from being on the gym floor. I haven't done that. And to start with, I thought, am I making the right call here? Because I've got other things going on in my life as well, and I can't necessarily give all of that time. But I don't think it is a necessity. I don't think that I need to prove myself on a gym floor, as I have a different level of
Mm.
experience and life experience that will make me authentic as a coach. And that's going to fit for some people and it's not going to fit for others. And you'll see this across social media and you'll see that the market seems absolutely saturated. But really, it's not, because what suits one person is not going to suit another. So there's space for us all. It's just working out what is the right fit for you.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I remember asking Dave that question on the podcast actually, and I said to him something like, "Do you think people should work in the gym before moving online?" And he was quite torn. But what he touched on was it's very different. Like you need a very different skill set to be successful online versus being in the gym PT. The way you deliver things are different. The problems that come up are going to be very different. So yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I don't think you need to, as long as you can fix a problem that someone has. That's all people really need, right? They
We're
don't. They
solution
don't.
providers, aren't we, at the end
Yeah,
of the day?
yeah, yeah. And if you understand, emotionally and intellectually what someone is experiencing, then you can create a bit of a path out of that for them.
Yeah.
Why do you need to have worked on the gym floor to be able to do that? You definitely don't. You've got your life experience. So yeah, talk to me a bit about the brand. Like, what are you trying to build? What do you stand for? Is there certain sort of clients that you want to work with?
So, lift your game for me is exactly what it says. We're focusing on building structure where people are lacking. We're building confidence, that mindset that we were talking about, because so many people think, I might make that jump, but they're not quite committed. I don't know about you, but I get so many people that'll come to me and then they'll back out. And you know that it's just that little bit of fear that's stopping them.
Mm,
And that's what we do. That's what we're trying to change, trying to train and rewire that brain to be able to say, yeah, your body's capable of so much more, that you can do this. Why shouldn't you be able to do this when other people are? And helping people with their nutrition as well. I've got an advanced sports nutrition qualification too. It's something that I am extremely passionate about and something that I've had to learn personally myself in order to get me to the strongest version of me. Do you know what? I'm still not finished with it. There's so much more that I want to do with it to see what my limits are. Because whatever you think they are, they're not. There's always a little bit more that you can push it, isn't there? And I want other people to be able to experience that. I want people to feel like they know their worth and that they can do what everybody else can do.
yeah, I love that. That's super inspiring. You touched on like people believing that they can do it. That is often one of the biggest barriers I see. Like you can be super good at content, super good at marketing, and think, why does no one want to work with me? And sometimes it is just you haven't created the belief for them, the person the other side, to think that they can do it because they might think I could never do that. They're far too ahead of me. And then with the sports nutrition, actually, that already puts you levels above a lot of online coaches, to be frank, because um, a lot of coaches will, some don't even have a qualification.
Mhm.
Others just have a basic level three qualification. And nutrition is probably the biggest part of results. You can train 7 days a week, but if your nutrition's not on point, you're not going to get the results you want. So, um, yeah, I definitely think you're already leagues ahead in terms of experience and with the nutrition background than some other coaches in terms of being able to, really help people.
I think this is exactly where people are confused at the moment, because people still think it is about all of the training. And yeah, that's super important and that's helping people progress in certain areas. But that's not where the magic happens. The magic happens when we leave that gym and we're promoting our recovery after and we're fueling ourselves. And that's what I want to raise awareness for, is we still need to big that up a little bit and move that forward. And then people are going to
Mm.
make so many more progressions within their own lives if they could just understand that a little bit more.
One of my bugbears of social media is coaches recycling what they've heard, on YouTube or from other coaches. And like a huge one is calories in, calories out. You see it everywhere. And there's so much more complexity to it than that. What are some of your social media bugbears? What drives you up the wall?
There's so many people that now think they're an expert, and no wonder you have people that think, I've tried this isn't working, I've tried that, I'll try this. People are forgetting that social media, yeah, it can be a really powerful tool, but there are a lot of people that are trying to create this influencer status for themselves and will jump on the latest trend that they have seen, thinking, oh, this is good, I'll use that. But there may be no scientific evidence to back up what they're actually saying. And then people that might not be so experienced in a gym or have the knowledge on their nutrition to support that are then getting swept away by it. And I want to just shape people and go, no, let's strip it back, take it back to basics. Why are we listening to all of this? I mean, we're human. We're going to go, oh, everyone's talking about that. So naturally, that must be what I need to do. But I think it can be dangerous and we need to change that. There's
Mm,
something that needs to be changed.
yeah, I think from a coach's perspective, one of the reasons we're doing it as coaches is kind of out of fear and out of the fear of not being good enough and this is what I have to do. Like if the big influencers are doing this, then this must be what I need to do. I need to create similar style content and put those similar opinions out there. Um, and then it just kind of spreads, and then everyone starts doing it. And then, the latest podcast of someone will drop and then, suddenly everyone's got this new
Mhm.
opinion that they've just recycling that information. How have you found social media? How long have you been doing, Instagram or Facebook and how have you found it so far?
So I've been on social media for years. I mean, when Instagram first came about, obviously I was using it and it's had a lot of changes. Um, and like I said before, I find it extremely useful and powerful at times to promote certain messages. From a business perspective, I'm very cautious before putting something out there, and always before I'll post, I'll go back and say, is this the message I really want to convey? Is this factual? Is this authentic to my values and not, like you said, getting led along by other people? Um, as far as communicating with people, it seems to be the way that a lot of people go now. Now they like to chat over DMs, they'll like to engage with you. I wouldn't say I'm probably the best yet at engaging on the content within the page itself. That's something that I need to work on because I've only ever used it personally, and using it as a business very different, isn't it? Whereas I can reply to DMs and chat with people there and talk to clients, but it's then that other part of your audience that just want to follow you for the knowledge, and you think, oh, I don't want to neglect that. Like they're following me and they're following me for the reason. I want to provide the resources where I can that aren't paid for, because that's not why I'm doing it. It's not to make money. Yes, that's the bonus. Yeah, it's a business, but at the end of the day, there's far better value for me in providing something of worth, whether that's paid for or free.
Mm. One of the big mindset shifts for me was really kind of getting like I call it a CEO mindset where the way that you operate on social media is very different when it's for your business than it is for when you're just showing up with your personal account. And like from my personal use, I was more of a watcher. Like I wasn't someone that posted my dinners or showed up on my stories or anything like that. I was more of a consumer. So I found it really challenging, like trying to create content, trying to show up. It really kind of felt forced. Um, but at some point, you've kind of got to make a decision and be like, well, if I want visibility for my business, knowing that people have got eyes on Facebook and Instagram, You just have to be like, this is what I'm getting paid for. This is my job. I have to have some kind of non-negotiables, even if I don't feel like it, in terms of creating content or showing up or, talking to people. Have you
That
found
was
any
the worst thing.
resistance?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
worst thing for me was when I first spoke to people on a story and I thought, I don't want to hear my voice. If I don't want to hear it, other people aren't going to want to hear it. Like, why am I doing this? I sound like an idiot. But I think it was just taking that jump because people do want to hear people's opinions, what they have to say. I wouldn't say I'm the most comfortable with it. Definitely didn't do it before, but like you said, it's changing that mindset and adapting that persona from the business perspective and saying, no, I need, how else can you let people know that you know what you're talking about? Otherwise, you could just have a face and a page and not necessarily have the qualifications, not necessarily know what you're doing when it comes to clients. And that's risky. So people want to know that you do know what you're talking about and that you can help them.
Yeah. And also that you're real,
Yeah.
because there's so many fake accounts out there now. If you're not showing up on video, then there's kind of like a lack of trust there. You might just be a random person. But the biggest thing is people buy people. People buy the coach
Mhm.
because they resonate, they like their energy. And this is exactly the same as in-person PT or really any service.
Mm.
You buy because you like the person, and without sharing a bit about you and just being natural and who you are, people don't get the chance to resonate with you and build that connection. There's days, still many days, where I'm like, I don't want to show up. I don't want to post. I don't want to be on social media. Um, but yeah, you have to kind of look at it and be like, well, yeah, this is my job. If I was going to a 9 to 5 and my job was to post social media, I'd do it right. Otherwise, I get the sack. So to give yourself a bit of a slap sometimes, be like, right, no, even if I don't feel like it, I do it because that's how you grow and that's how you become more confident and that's how it becomes easier kind of over time. But hey, I've been doing it for many years and it's still a struggle sometimes for me. Sometimes it feels easy. Most of the time it doesn't. It's just like putting the reps in, just like fitness. You build a strong body in the gym. Like this, you put the reps in to build a strong mindset. Coming back to your business, what would you say are some of the biggest problems maybe people might come to you or might have kind of that they have in terms of what you want to fix for them?
Motivation is a massive one at the moment. Um, and that's why I put a post out on that this morning because I've had quite a lot of people approach me recently and just say, "Oh, how do you do it? I couldn't be doing that." And I have to say, no, I don't want to be doing that all the time, but we make that effort to do it because we know where we want to get to and we know how we're going to feel after. And we're creating a version of ourselves that is going to transfer onto our kids and their kids. You're promoting a lifestyle that has longevity rather than just going through the motions of life. And that comes down to consistency and discipline. So it's not motivation at all. And this is what I keep trying to say to people. I go through times where I'm not motivated at all. And I'll think, no, I don't want to do this. We all have bad days, but that's when we really show up because that's what gives us more strength as a person. And if you could do that on a few days when you think, I don't want to, you're actually growing so much more within you. And that's powerful, I think.
Yeah, I think motivation is most of our job as a coach because people can go to AI and write themselves a workout plan and a nutrition plan, but they never stay motivated, more than 2 weeks to follow through. I remember someone once said to me, motivation you can break down into motive to take action. Motivation. It's like if the motive isn't strong enough, then the action never comes.
Mm.
And it's about getting people to realize what their motive is, because sometimes it's there, but they're just not bringing it into their conscious. They're not thinking about it enough. They're kind of brushing it under the carpet. Someone said to me, not too long ago, and this hit me as a dad. They said, "You say you'd die for your kids, but would you stay healthy for them?" And when you kind of look at it like that as a father, you think, yeah, of course I want to be around for my kids. I want to stay healthy. I don't want to get sick, you know? So yeah, it's really about finding that internal driver for most people.
Mhm.
Because if the motive, it's always the one where someone goes to the doctor and the doctor says, unless you do X, Y, Z, you're going to get sick. Something's going to happen. And then straight away they're like, right, okay, they're committed. So yeah, it's about reminding people what your motive is, because otherwise we just kind of, without really realizing it, unconsciously slip into super bad habits and super bad health.
I think there's a fine line though, isn't there? Because like when you say if you go to the doctor and they'll tell you what you need to do, it's like us as coaches, we could tell a client what we think they should do. But at the end of the day, unless they believe it and they made that change, it's not going to stay. And give it a couple of weeks, like you said, and it's going to wean off again. And you've fallen off and you go, oh, why? So it's finding techniques that they can apply that when that motivation is low, resets it for them, whether that is finding someone that they need to go with and train with or a reason why they're going to go. It's using the tools on the tougher days that then creates the habit in the long run, I
Yeah,
think.
while we're talking about doctors, this is a good one to debate because I know there's strong opinions on this in the industry. Ozempic or Wegovy, um, what's your opinion on use of the weight loss drug?
I'm personally against it. I mean, I think that there are certain medical cases in which, yeah, other avenues have been explored and then it's been used after. And okay, but I think it's being used far more than it should. For the average individual that wants to lose some weight, that's not sustainable and that's not healthy. We don't know what we're putting in our bodies. I mean, everything that's come up when we get new injections and things that people go, oh, I'm not sure about that because of the side effects. But then you're going to go and inject yourself with Ozempic for a short term solution. That's not creating habits. That's not educating you on the importance of a healthy lifestyle. You're just putting a plaster
Mm.
over the wound and it's going to come off eventually.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it is all it's about stopping you eating. It's taking that willpower away from you. But yeah, as soon as you come off, it's like, what's going to happen now if you haven't developed
Mm-hmm.
other habits? You're just going to go back to what you were doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I definitely don't think there's enough education from the doctors maybe prescribing it. And I know they don't have time to give people a lecture, but I think some people they don't really understand what is happening inside their bodies and they're thinking
Yeah.
that some magical drug when it's actually it's like no, it's just stopping you eating. That's all it's doing. It's just creating an environment where you don't want to eat, which you could do yourself, right, if you really wanted to. Um, but also, yeah, in a very unhealthy way. And of course, yeah, huge health risks associated. Some of the studies suggest cancer risks and all sorts. It's just like, yeah, I get you might be in a desperate situation, but I think there's better approaches.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
you know, one of which you offer.
Exactly.
Uh, where would you like to take your business? Have you kind of got any grand thoughts about like what might be next in terms of the fitness business? Whether that's like 5 years or 10 years.
That's a difficult. I would love to do some more work on perimenopausal and menopausal exercise. I think that that is such a hot topic right now, and that there's still so much research and work to be done on how we can help females at that time of their life. And I'm really interested in it, and I want to be able to offer that support. I would like to get myself as qualified as possible in that area so that I can add an additional service because it's a difficult time for women to go through. I've seen firsthand from friends, and it's something that I want to have awareness for myself and to be able to give a little bit of ease to others as well, if possible. So that's something I'd like to add in. in the near future, I think.
Yeah, really nice. Yes, it's a huge pain point, obviously, and like
Mm.
the bigger pain that you can fix, like the more valuable you become as a coach. So yeah, I think that would definitely be um, a good bow to add to one arrow to add to your bow, whatever way around that goes. Um, 25 minutes. I think we'll wrap it up. I feel like we could continue this conversation for an hour, but I'm conscious of time. I'm going to link your Instagram and how to contact you in the show notes if anyone wants to reach out, whether that's another coach that wants to network or someone that might be interested in working with you. I think you've got a lot to offer the industry. I think you've got a lot to offer people in general with your life experience and obviously your trained experience too. So, yeah, I'm wishing you the best of luck in your business and thanks so much for coming on the show.